With the rumors of Ariana Grande and Ethan Slater going through a rocky time in their relationship,
according to sources, Ethan is said to be struggling to keep up with Ariana's glamorous life.
It is being speculated that once the Wicked Part 2 film premiere is done promoting, you will see Ariana and Ethan may announce a split. This coming after Ariana wrecked a family. But this is far from her first victims.
Wedding bells are in the future for star couple Big Sean and Naya Rivera.
Ariana Grande's dating life has always been like a hurricane, and there have been plenty of victims along the way.
We were together for 2 years, and then it came to an end.
And breaking news, TMZ is reporting that rapper Mac Miller has died of an apparent overdose.
With Ariana and Ethan barely being seen together the last 6 months, could it be, with the Wicked movies coming to an end, so is their relationship? Ariana Grande's dating history is like a gold mine of drama. But if you really examine it, it's probably more like a landmine. A history of cheating and homewrecking. What makes her do this over and over? Is it a thrill for her? Well, if you go back to her first public relationships, you might be able to see where the pattern started. When she was a teenager, Ariana Grande was on the Nickelodeon show Victorious. In the summer of 2012, when she turned 19, fans of hers and fans of Australian YouTube prankster Jai Brooks pushed them to talk to each other, and that talking turned into a long-distance relationship. They would finally meet in person on December 30th, 2012. Jay spent 2 weeks in New York with her, and one of the things they ironically did was go see the musical Wicked on Broadway.
Jay, how was the show, Jay? How's the show?
Young love. But this is where Ariana Grande's dating timeline already gets murky. She met rapper Mac Miller in 2012 as well, and by the end of the year had become really good friends with him. You can see her giddy during a live stream in late 2012 when Mac was texting her and eventually called her.
No way. Okay. Alright. What are you doing to me right now? Want to say hi?
Hello.
Everybody, this is Mac.
In 2013, she wanted Mac on her song The Way. Jai Brooks at one point had surprised Ariana on the set of that music video for The Way. But in that music video, Ariana and Mac were directed to kiss. Now, the kiss was all directed by production, but shortly after, Jay and Ariana broke up. It is worth noting that Jay was only 17 at the time, and perhaps the kiss in a music video was too much jealousy to handle. It is unknown if anything else happened other than kissing in a music video, but it is interesting that Mac Miller and his longtime girlfriend had a breakup around the same time. Mac Miller and Nomi had met in middle school and became closer in high school, and eventually became high school sweethearts. During the breakup with Nomi, Mac Miller did politely shut down the rumors about himself and Ariana Grande, saying, "That's the homie. She's got a boyfriend and everything." Obviously that kiss made everyone talk. I didn't even know that was going to happen, and then we were shooting and the director was like, "This should happen," and I'm like, all right. When I went back to my old school, elementary, middle school, the other day, when I was in Pittsburgh and everyone was freaking out like, "You kissed Ariana Grande," I was like, yeah, you know how I do. She's a very, very talented singer. Like, she can sing incredibly, and she's a great person. She's one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. Within a week, Mac Miller and Nomi would work things out and get back together, though Mac Miller's time in Ariana's world was far from over. Ariana and Jai Brooks also worked things out and got back together. They seemed happy for many months, and Jay would fly out to America on several occasions and would spend his 18th birthday with her. On August 6th, 2013, Jay posted a picture on Instagram to celebrate his 10-month anniversary with Ariana the next day. While also in August, Ariana was doing another music video for her song Almost Is Never Enough, which English singer Nathan Sykes was featured on. They shot the music video together, and then 1 week after filming the music video, and 1 week after Jay's Instagram post, Ariana revealed she and Jay had broken up. When the Almost Is Never Enough music video came out in mid-August, fans thought there was something actually romantic going on between Ariana and Nathan Sykes. They did not directly deny it, and for the next month would drop more hints like they were actually together before revealing in September 2013 that they were in fact together. Ariana stated in an interview talking about Nathan, she said that she saw him in March 2013 on a red carpet and they locked eyes with each other all night. She thought he was cute as hell, but nothing happened, obviously.
What was it like to meet Nathan's parents? That sounded so scary. Like, I heard about this and I was like, no.
I was really nervous, to be honest, to be fair.
Ariana even met his family right away, which questioned how long they were really seeing each other, or how fast they were moving.
Ariana Grande may be known to the world as an American sweetheart, but is she an undercover cheater? Jai Brooks says yes.
On October 7th, 2013, which would have been Jay and Ariana's 1-year anniversary, Jay accused Ariana of cheating on him with Nathan. He wrote a long message with the first lines being, "Yes, I was cheated on. Yes, it does suck. Yes, I was left for another man." Ariana, of course, denied this and said it was hurtful.
Those kinds of accusations being thrown at me are completely false and more than anything, just hurtful and shocking.
But here we have our very first instance of Ariana's relationships having this blurred lines between what is and what isn't cheating. In the final months of 2013, Ariana found herself in what I believe was a long-distance love triangle with Jai Brooks in Australia and Nathan Sykes in England. This was the first instance in her young dating life where she saw herself as a prize that someone was fighting over. The excitement of being desired by two people. By the end of 2013, it's safe to say Jai Brooks won out. The excitement was with Jai Brooks, and by early 2014, rumors of them being back together ramped up. She did an interview saying she loves a bad boy, someone who is funny and who has a lot of tattoos, which is something Jai Brooks fit. After Ariana performed at the iHeartRadio Music Awards on May 1st, 2014, Ariana and Jay were caught kissing, which officially confirmed their relationship was back on. Later that year, her grandfather got ill, and she spent his last month alive with him in Florida. Jai Brooks was not able to make it to see her during this time, which led to them breaking up again because he was not there for her in her time of need. Someone who did go down to Florida to visit her at the time was Big Sean. She had been friends with the rapper for a couple of years by that point, and spending this time together in Florida while her grandfather was dying brought them even closer. At that time, Big Sean was in a relationship with actress Naya Rivera, and they would even become engaged later in 2014.
Wedding bells are in the future for star couple Big Sean and Naya Rivera.
Well, in the spring of 2014, Big Sean started dodging his fiancée Naya before their wedding, which led to their very public breakup just months before they were supposed to marry. A few months after calling off his engagement, he was seen on public dates with Ariana. There couldn't possibly be a connection to Ariana Grande being a homewrecker here, right? While according to Naya herself, there was. She alluded in her autobiography, Sorry Not Sorry, that Ariana and Big Sean's relationship was starting while she and Big Sean were still engaged. In her book, Naya Rivera was talking about Big Sean away from LA so much towards the end of their relationship and wrote, "On the one day that he was back in LA, he said he didn't want to see me, but since I had a key, I let myself into his house." Rivera then wrote, "I walk in, go downstairs, and guess what little girl is sitting cross-legged on the couch listening to music? It rhymes with Smariana Schmonde." In interviews about this part of the book, Naya would always play coy, but would also subtly stand by what she wrote.
It was with Ariana Grande who was sitting there. That is one of the things everybody's talking about.
Yeah.
So let's flush it out here.
Yes.
All right, tell me the tea. Spill it.
Yeah. I never said they were cuddling.
Yeah.
I never said he cheated. I said she was sitting on a couch.
Right. Which is kind of weird, though, if you haven't heard from your fiance.
And you walk into his house, and there she is.
No, draw your own conclusions.
Right.
But I said she was sitting on a couch.
That's exactly what you said.
Okay, wait. I have to
We started out as friends, so that was the thing. It progressed from there.
Big Sean always said he and Ariana started as friends, which they clearly did, but when did they cross that line between friendship and romantic relationship? He nor Ariana Grande never refuted these claims in Naya's book that Big Sean was avoiding her to be with Ariana, but it's another example of lines blurring when it comes to Ariana and her relationships. And perhaps this is the first time Ariana felt like she won something, won someone else's man, a thrill she would chase again.
Ariana Grande's donut licking scandal is landing the small donut shop in hot water.
In 2015, her next relationship was with her backup dancer, Ricky Alvarez. Their relationship era is most remembered for the Donut Gate, when Ariana was caught licking a donut. But the dates at the end of their relationship is important, because this is where Ariana's blurred lines start to become straight up crossing the line. On July 14th, 2016, Ariana was posting loving pictures of him with them together for his birthday. But then, the very next day, on July 15th, she is spotted at Disneyland with Mac Miller. They were trying to hide themselves from being seen by fans with big visors, but that didn't quite work out. A few months earlier in 2016, Mac and his longtime girlfriend Nomi had broken up, and Mac, who was a tortured soul with his addiction demons, was having a rough summer. Canceling concerts, canceling appearances. Nomi had left him, and he was going to rehab, and Ariana was someone visiting him a lot while he was in rehab. Well, that night at Disneyland, which Ariana and Mac didn't leave till midnight, they then headed to the studio, and Ariana posted a snap of her dancing to a then unreleased Mac Miller song, and they seemed to be making music together. On July 25th, Mac and Ariana are seen playing Pokemon Go together, and then on July 26th, the news breaks with reports that Ariana and Ricky Alvarez are no longer together. So, she went from still in a relationship on his birthday to with Mac Miller the very next day, and a week and a half later, the relationship with Ricky is over. Maybe it's Ariana always falling head over heels for someone immediately, but to me, this is for sure Ariana crossing the line into cheating on someone. In August, Ariana released a remix of the song Into You with a guest verse from Mac Miller. Some of Mac's lines in the song are very telling. Heard you got a man, baby I could do it better, and it really ain't the plan. I just want you to remember how it was, how it is, how it could be. You see, Ariana did have a man for a year before Mac and Ariana hung out at Disneyland, and then they were in the studio possibly recording that verse. Later in August of that year, they were all the rage on TMZ and all the celebrity sites, and I do believe they both cared for each other immensely. By this point, they almost go back 4 years of friendship, but didn't announce themselves as official until September 6th. Mac and Ariana are together all the time after that for the rest of 2016. In an article for Cosmo in 2017, Ariana said, I met him when I was 19. We have loved and adored and respected each other since the beginning, since before we even met, just because we were fans of each other's talent. We weren't ready at all, though, to be together. It's just timing. We both needed to experience some things, but the love has been there the whole time. She also said in that article, there were times when he was really broken and sad. This was years ago, and I would come over and take care of him because we love each other as best friends first and foremost. Ariana was painting a picture of their strong friendship that led to a relationship.
Breaking news in Manchester, England. At least 19 people have died in a suspected terror attack at an Ariana Grande concert.
On May 22nd, 2017, the Manchester bombing happened at Ariana Grande's concert, leaving 22 dead. Mac canceled 2 festivals to be able to see her on her return, where she was of course devastated and shaken up. Their relationship seemed very solid in 2017, but going into 2018 there were rumors of issues in their relationship because of Miller struggling to stay sober. Come May 7th of 2018, it was the Met Gala, and Ariana hosted an after party at an Airbnb, and her manager Scooter Braun told her he would be hanging out with some of the SNL cast. Ariana told Scooter she always had a crush on Pete Davidson and to tell him hi. He said to tell Pete hi yourself and gave her his number, so she invited Pete Davidson over to her party. And according to an interview later in the year, Ariana did have a crush on Pete when she hosted SNL in 2016. She said in an article, "I left Pete's room when we were writing skits and stuff for the show, and my tour manager was in the hallway." Grande said, "I'm not a crushy person. Like, I don't have crushes on people. I don't know. But I left, and I, like, jokingly said to my tour manager, I'm marrying him, 100%. I'm literally marrying him." Well, at this time in the spring of 2018, Pete Davidson was dating Larry David's daughter, Cassie David. In April 2018, he was talking about Cassie a lot and even mentioned at a show that he was probably marrying her. Well, on May 7th, 2018, Pete's relationship with Cassie and Ariana's relationship with Mac both seemed to go out the window. At the end of Ariana's Met Gala after party, Pete once recalled it was only he and Ariana left there. He said, "I'm so stupid and unaware of how chemistry and all that stuff works. I literally was like, 'Hi, can I kiss you please?'" Davidson then told Howard Stern, "We played the game, everybody left, and then it was just me and her. And I was like, well, if there was ever a shot, it would be now, go for it." Now, Pete did not tell this story until later in the year, but if this happened on May 7th, they were both still in relationships. 2 days later, on May 9th, 2018, Ariana Grande and Mac Miller officially broke up.
In very sad news, Ariana Grande and Mac Miller have called it quits, according to multiple reports.
Ariana confirmed it with a post on Instagram saying in the post, "Unconditional love is not selfish. It is wanting the best for that person, even if at the moment it's not you." She then waited until the end of May to confirm she and Pete were dating. The picture, however, that she posted on Instagram is from an SNL after party which took place on May 12th, 5 days after kissing Pete for the first time, 3 days after announcing she and Mac Miller have broken up. On May 12th, they were already all over each other. So they were already all over each other on May 12th. And Pete didn't confirm his relationship with Cassie David being over until May 16th. Cheaters, cheaters, pumpkin eaters. The Ariana and Pete relationship was a whirlwind, with Pete proposing in early June, yes, a month after their first kiss. Yes, Ariana told a tour manager 2 years prior she would marry Pete Davidson someday, and it looked like they were on that path. It was like one of those romances in your 20s where you think it's forever because you're stuck in the honeymoon phase. They certainly thought that and got matching tattoos. They went public with the engagement on June 11th, 2018. And to say the least, this was two people with a lot of issues when it came to dating. They were obsessed with each other and stuck in that honeymoon phase. And Ariana definitely seems to need that obsession in her relationships. There was a time she posted herself straddling Pete on the bed while singing "Can You Feel the Love Tonight?" But this addictive romance would hit quite the wall. Tragedy would strike and deal a blow to Ariana and Pete's obsession with each other. Ever since his breakup with Ariana, Mac Miller's substance abuse problems had gotten out of control, and at one point he crashed his car. He was lucky to make it out of that incident alive. According to Mac's ex Nomi, Mac was the one who ended things with Ariana, perhaps after finding out about the kiss with Pete. On September 5th, 2018, Cameron Pettit sold some pills to Mac. Those pills were counterfeit and laced with fentanyl. 2 days later, Mac Miller was dead.
And breaking news, TMZ is reporting that rapper Mac Miller has died of an apparent overdose.
Ariana was devastated after Mac's passing. I do believe they were good friends. I also do believe she was riddled with guilt. Pete Davidson has since said he knew their relationship was doomed after her devastation to Mac's passing away. Pete said, "I pretty much knew it was around over after that. That was really horrible, and I can't imagine what that shit is like. All I do know is that she really loved the shit out of him, and she wasn't putting on a show or anything. That was fucked up." Soon after, the dramatic relationship between Ariana and Pete came to an end, and she would go on to release Thank You Next, a song mentioning a lot of her notable past relationships and what they taught to her. A song about self-love and growth and being thankful for the lessons. By 2020, it seems she had learned the lessons. She met luxury real estate agent Dalton Gomez. They started dating right before COVID, which is probably good for both of them. They got to spend the world shutting down together. A quick way to discover if you truly like a person if you're stuck with them through lockdowns. Well, they must have really liked each other because they got married in a private ceremony in May of 2021. Maybe Ariana had actually grown up. Maybe she didn't need that feeling of falling head over heels for someone again and was ready to settle down. Or maybe COVID locked her into having to feel this way. The world opened back up, and by the end of 2022, Ariana was spending a lot of time away from Dalton because she was in London on the set of the Wicked movies. It was on this set that she met this hobbit-looking creature that we now know as Ethan Slater. Ethan was one of those theater guys who was always trying to transition from the stage to the big screen, and this was kind of a big break for him. Ethan was married to clinical psychologist Lilly Jay, and they had just had a baby in August of 2022. Well, a taken man had never stopped Ariana before, and I guess a new child wasn't much of a roadblock either, because Ariana was feeling that old crushy feeling. And unfortunately for all involved, Ariana usually gets what she wants. On the set, other cast members were quick to notice how close Ariana and Ethan were getting. In private, Ariana had started a separation from Dalton in early 2023. But despite heading towards divorce, Ariana and Dalton did have a double date with Ethan and Lilly Jay at some point in spring of 2023. So Ariana had known Lilly Jay. She met Ethan's wife. She had met their baby, and still Ariana's toxic homewrecker ways took over. This is textbook blurred lines Ariana, where there's clearly an affair going on, but PR tries to take over and act like both Ariana and Ethan were separated. And maybe Ariana was, but cheating loser Ethan Slater seemed to blindside his wife when it came to their separation. In mid-July 2023, Ethan told his wife about his plans to separate and get a divorce. And then, by July 20th, reports about Ethan and Ariana dating were already emerging. The backlash on both Ariana and Ethan was pretty swift and monumental. Ethan's son was not even a year old, and here he was leaving Lilly for Ariana because he fell for her usual charm, her usual need to be the prize, to be the winner. Lilly Jay did initially criticize Ariana as not a girl's girl, which no lie was told. She has since been nicer about Ariana and Ethan, much nicer than they deserved, but she's been trying to be a good mom and just cares about her son being able to have two parents who care. And so here was Ariana and her Hobbit theater kid, her latest win. Does she see them as a conquest? Perhaps it's because when she met Ethan, she was 29 going on 30. Maybe she had to prove to herself that she still had it. She could still be the prize. But was wooing someone who probably grew up a loser that hard? Was it worth wrecking a family with a child involved this time? Maybe it's the only way Ariana can feel something. But how long does that feeling usually last? Doesn't seem to last for long. 2 years later, and now news that the marriage plans between Ariana and Ethan have been scrapped kept coming out. They've hit a rough patch. Another honeymoon phase done. Could Ariana already be on to the next? If her history shows anything, it is likely. In fact, when they first came out as an item 2 years ago, a lot of people online speculated that once the Wicked movies were done, they would be too. And with Wicked 2, Wicked for Good premiering in theaters soon, we could find out the truth about Ariana and Ethan's relationship. He still supports her online, but they have not been seen together for months. So was it all worth it? Wrecking a family for a 2-year ego-fueled fling? If this is the end of them, the real question is, who will be Ariana Grande's next victims?